Hello, everyone. Welcome to my streaming world. Let's get some headphones on because I want to hear what I'm saying and see what it sounds like to you guys. And to all those that decide to listen and come and join me, I have not been on streaming for a while for a few reasons. For anyone who listens to this later on when they get around to it. So I am a massage therapist for a living. That's what I've been doing for a bunch of years now. When the channeling thing that came up, I hadn't. There's a lot of stuff I hadn't quite integrated into myself and who I was. And what I found through doing the channeling before is that it brought up a lot of stuff I hadn't dealt with. And now that I've reached a certain point and integrated much of what came up from doing that specifically, I've been working on being able to just work out of my home and just do body work out of my house. And for now, I'm actually I'm coming back to this. It's just I didn't have quite the mental energy to be able to do both things. So and it was fully my plan to actually come back to you guys and do more streams and do more channels. So that was on the docket, but I had to make sure I had my whole work in place so I was able to actually do it properly without burning myself out. Because that was like the biggest thing before. It was trying to split my energy in a lot of different directions. So now that I've actually reached this point after a few months of just kind of like integration and working to make it so I can actually put my energy in different directions to different places, so I'm able to like share who I am without it being this clusterfuck of of experience. But yeah, no, if you guys have questions, feel free to put in the box and we'll see about channeling some stuff for you guys. So feel free to, yeah. No, and also this Saturday is my birthday. I'm turning 40 and I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's I got to go to a really awesome concert last night. I'm wearing the shirt right now. Queens of the Stone Age is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I absolutely love their music. I've been listening to them for like 20 years, and they're fantastic if you ever get a chance to listen to them. But I've been meaning to get back to this. I just did not have the energy to do all the different things that I do. So now that I have kind of like my income is getting to where I can actually come back to this a little more easily and have the mental energy to do it. Because frankly, it takes a lot to actually do channeling and everything else. And thank you guys. Yeah, no, so that's actually realistically the reason why I haven't been streaming, is because I just have not had the mental energy to like put towards channeling and put towards and also the shirt, a poster, which I don't usually, when I go to concerts, I don't usually buy merch because it's frankly kind of expensive. I also got myself a hoodie for one of my favorite bands, Queens of the Stone Age. They were here in Portland with the Viagra Boys last night. It was a good show. Like if you guys ever get a chance to actually check out Queens of the Stone Age, highly suggest you do it. They're fantastic. And yeah, so if you guys have like, I've been kind of doing a little bit of channeling, but like what I've been doing is actually integrating the energy that I got from when I was doing it there pretty heavily. So if you guys have questions that you'd like me to channel and answer through, please feel free to put in the box. So, but yeah, no, my 40th birthday is coming up, and I'm excited because I'm gonna go do some fun stuff. Like I got an art battle I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go play disc golf that morning. I'm gonna go just do some random other stuff. So yeah, so that's my big plan for my 40th birthday. Yeah. And I yeah, just this is honestly just kind of a comeback to things because I've actually had quite a few people. Well, I've had you guys in my community asking, when am I going to come back and when am I going to do streams? Well, I haven't had the mental energy for one, so I got to have like that. But yeah, no, if you have any questions that you want to ask questions about that you want answered for, please feel free to put in that thing, and I'll. Because I've been actually the way I've been trying to work on it off stream when I'm not just like asking questions, having you guys ask me questions, is how to make it a little more fluid for me to be able to slip in between the state and actually be able to ask, like, bring in information through. It's just like I've been practicing off stream, so it's not just like a lot coming in at me at one time. So yeah, no, I'm actually in a pretty good. I will say this much: taking the break for the last few months from doing this and just focusing on work and trying to make sure that's all in place has been really nice because it's given me time to just kind of like integrate that energy, that feeling, that experience of who I am. So I have like more clear definition of what's the next. What do you see coming in the next 3 months? All right, give me a sec. Like I said, feel free to put the questions in the chat. I'm going to slip back and forth. This is going to be kind of like this back and forth thing. I don't completely know what's going to come through, but let's see what goes. All right, what do we got? Give me a sec. How are you all doing today? We have returned with our energy to this time, place, through this conduit, to deliver various messages and answer questions for you at this time. He has been able to integrate the understanding and the messages that we were delivering to him before. At this time, as the question was conveyed to the channel, as we see it, for the next 3 months, you are heading towards an event very shortly in your experience and your space-time to be able to have a greater level of contact with your higher self and with your what you interpret as extraterrestrials. You are also heading towards a time of great acceleration. We are not completely dialed in for the time space of when it will occur, but we, as the collective that we are, since in 2 months, 2 to 4 months, a particular event will occur that will drastically change the path that you have been experiencing in many places around your world. Many of the large events and many of the large conflicts that have been arising between your United States and China and Russia and many of these larger countries, as you know them to be, will have a, let's just say, a reshuffling of the deck. That is the biggest forecast we see on the vibrational change as it stands right now. All right, that was cool. All right. Let's see what else. Yeah, no, like I said, this has actually gotten easier. Like I've like flipping back and forth is actually, that wasn't so bad. Like when I was trying to do that a couple months ago, that was actually like, it was like whiplash. It was just like, oh my god, I can't do this. Like, that's actually part of the reason I stepped back, because it was like this whole whiplash thing happening. So, and my camera got real blurry. Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, because I'm, like I said, I'm going to be going back and forth. So feel free to put any like questions you might have for yourself personally, or for um, that you have for big events and things that might occur. Like there's no thing, nothing actually off the table. I'm just kind of riffing at this point. I have no plan for what's coming in. Um, no, I'm kind of in this really good headspace. I've been working the last few months, and I've been working to just kind of like integrate things and just meditating a lot and taking things in a little more stride instead of like trying to push myself super hard to like achieve something. Like I can tell you after there's a few things that I've been kind of like wanting to make videos on that I've been kind of holding back because I didn't necessarily know how to like push them out into the world. And I, because what I want to do is, and I kind of did this in one video before, but I want to integrate like the channeling aspect of what I do into some videos where it's taking different subjects. Like, so one thing that I actually found from doing the channeling aspect of things is that I've had abilities unlock in me, and like things that I can do that were there, but they were just kind of like the channeling stuff. What it did it actually got me over the hump, and it just brought things out in me that I'm like, I didn't realize were there, but they were there all along, and now I can do some kind of amazing things where people are like, "You're doing miracles." I'm like, sure. So, yeah, no, feel free to like add questions, like, or if you guys want to know about stuff I've been up to, like, feel free to ask, because like I've been working on something I've been working on for specifically bodywork wise is I've been working on developing a bodywork specific for people who are diabetic, because there's a lot of people out there that are diabetic these days. So I've been actually, what I've been seeing with the stuff I've been developing and working on is like, I don't know if you know about diabetes at all, but specifically when it comes to diabetes, there's a couple major things that happen with them. Is you have this, if you know what neuropathy is, like you feel the like you lose feeling in your limbs, your feet, your arms, usually in like your outer extremities. And what I've been able to do is I've actually more or less actually gotten neuropathy to like more or less geared down, so people have some mild neuropathy. It's not like it's not super like over the top, and it causes a lot of trouble. And also what I've been developing to actually help the pancreas start working again, and I've actually been able to get results with that where it's actually working pretty well. So see, okay, let's see, what do you see for me in the next 3 months, including my health conditions and financial, or in any coming months? Okay, let's see. Hold on, Rosemary, give me a sec. We are not the aspect that is Etham. We are of the Palladians. We are more suitable for the task that you ask. We see for your health a we are scanning your energy, your vibrational signature. As we read it, you have a buildup of toxins in your liver that are causing larger issues. And as we read it, we are determining that there are lower body issues, more into your right lower hip and into a knee issue that has been bothering you from time to time, but this is becoming more of an issue. One moment. Mind you, all of the different predictions are merely readings of the energy at this moment. They are not empirically true. They are purely, anytime that any prediction is made, it is purely just an energetic reading at that moment. You may have issues that arise that are change the prediction, so therefore they become invalid. But these are just current actual experiences and actual readings of your particular energy. At this time, financially speaking, we read an event that is to arise closer to the end of this year for you. And as we read the energy that is at the moment, you will have 3 small events occurring within this time period from this moment in time to your end of your year that will give you a chance to determine more easily and more effectively what you would like to do for a living and what you might be able to see in your future for your experiences. It just matters on what you want to do with them. It does not indicate that we are giving you implicitly this time will happen. We are just indicating to you, as we read it at this moment, that 3 separate small events will help you determine your financial future at this time. Oh, that was easy. Cool. Okay. I see. I have neuropathy from cancer treatments. I understand. Heard of what is MM? Yeah. No, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have if you want me to like answer a question specifically, because this is still kind of jarring, going back and forth. You're gonna have to actually give me a little more like use less acronyms. I literally, when he comes through and he like does, keep in mind, so the different beings that I'm actually channeling are different aspects of me in particular. It's not the end all be all. Like, they're just reading energy and they're coming through and who's more appropriate at any time to actually answer a question. So I'm sorry, Rosemary, that you have cancer. That sucks. Ooh. Yeah, no, this will be up on MM Authority. Williams Medical. I don't know. Like that. Like I said, they are just literally just reading the energy, and they. Oh God. Medical. Williams Medical. I don't know. Like a lot of times when stuff comes through me, they just kind of say what they're reading. Yeah, feel free to go back through the actual. This will be up on my channel, so it's here for you guys. And I feel like I should have more stuff for this. Oh, you're recovering. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, like like I said, this gets very disorienting. Go back and forth when I'm actually when I'm switching between state. See, for my future in the next year, just general because my life is pretty mundane. my question to you, I forget your name. Acceptable person. Like, I'm sorry, it's been months and I work on a lot of you. I'll have to check out for you, or for myself. So just because I've also, like I said, I've been integrating what different teachers and different things that I've been working on and working through. If your life is pretty mundane, unless you make a change, it's going to remain that way. So you have to be willing to actually step outside of your boundaries, because if you just stay inside of the space and time that you've existed in your entire life, you're not gonna grow. So and I hate this, but I used to say it to myself back in the day so many times when I was kind of going through this big period of my life where I was just growing from like left and right. Oh, hi Kobe. Sorry, I see a lot of people, so I have to remember a lot of names, and I'm completely sorry that I forgot your name. But no, if you don't like the way your life is going, and you feel like you want to grow beyond it, the best way to put yourself in a situation, and I'm not saying in a dangerous situation, but like, this goes back to what Bashar teaches, which is follow your excitement, follow the things that inspire you, follow your bliss. It can be like, a lot of times it really just starts out as being something simple. It can, like, it's like that message from your higher mind. It means, come jump on a stream with Kenneth, and we can do some channeling stuff. Or it can be turn left. It can be like those simple things you do to actually help your life grow. Like, I have a pretty fun, exciting life with everything that I do. It's because I've made it that way. Like, I'm into dancing. I love dancing. Dancing's amazing. It's like one of the best parts of my life. And I've been doing it now for 10 years, and or 12 years for overall, but like 10 for the kind of dancing that I do. But it's because I got outside of that comfort zone for who I am. I was able to actually grow, and also I was actually able to like reach out and help people, because I just didn't necessarily, I was afraid that I was going to live without living. Like, the whole mundane experience of not being able to get out into the world and say, I didn't live my fullest experience of who I am as a person. And that scared me. That thoroughly, completely scared me. Like, getting on here and getting on stream with you guys, I can tell you from when I first started doing it to now that I was so scared to do this. I was so scared to put myself out in front of people, because I was worried that no one would want to hear what I had to say. So, Kobe, my advice, and this is just advice, would be start small. Like, take little steps every single day, because that into itself will actually give you the most fun, exciting life. And like, if you really take what Bashar says, because I know a lot of people just do lip service to this, like, because I remember you, Kobe, were did you end up going to the Bashar event down in Arizona? And I'll give you a minute to answer, but and I'm switching between screens. Ooh, I would actually explore that. If you have a weird fascination with rocks are fantastic. They are a great conversation, and also they can kind of bring a new texture to your life. It's not like, if you give yourself a chance to actually go and explore with those weird fascinations. Like, those weird fascinations for me have always taken me down some really cool, like, paths that I would have never gone otherwise. Ooh, that would be actually fun to explore. But yeah, no, Kobe, that would be actually my simplest advice to you, is like, take some time to really just explore those things that you're fascinated. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be like this life-spanning event, but like, follow those rocks, follow the path, because you're probably being guided to like something that's there, because there's always something there, like a fascination for rocks, or me wanting to talk, or me being excited about like channeling. Like I find that exciting. It's fascinating to actually sit there and talk to people and allow yourself to like be in that state for everyone. And also, ooh, how bad was it? I'm so sorry on that. That was pretty bad. Yeah, no, I've been to one of those events, and there's a lot of people when you go to those things. Um, and yeah, let's actually see what he has to say about like the eclipse. Let's see what do we got. Give me a sec. In regards to the idea of anxiety and stress and defining a situation where there are a lot of people, we would suggest a self exploration of what and why and where the origin of those experiences come from, and what you have been able to interpret from those experiences. Because many times when experiences like that show up, they are merely there to illuminate the experience of why you specifically have reached into the state of anxiety and pain that you have determined it to be. As far as the eclipse, synchronistically, the answer of the anxiety, as well as the idea of the eclipse, because many of you, when you move into shadow, as many of you have been experiencing for many years of your time, you move into a state of fear. Because within the shadow, it is aspects of yourself that you have not quite integrated into your experience of who you are. So as you move into the shadow, synchronistically, you, as a being, are allowed to look at those parts of you that you've not quite integrated and allowed yourself to be part of. So, at this time, that's what we would say about the eclipse. It is a chance for you as a culture, as a people, because as you shift closer and further into the window of open contact in the years to come, you will be given more and more opportunities in which you can interact with beings such as us, and with beings that don't even resemble anything like humanoid life that will be coming forward in the years to come. Your anxiety will be brought to the surface by many of these creatures, but that should be exciting for you. For there, at those times when it comes up, you take a moment when if you've done the work, to be able to actually have those experiences and determine for yourself, is this true for you? Because when you know what's true for you, it allows you to actually move past the idea of the shadow, the dark places that you are afraid to look. And that's what we would have to say about the eclipse that is coming soon. That was cool. All right, let's see. Oh, you didn't go. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like as he just said, ET contact is happening, so or it's gonna happen sooner than later. So, okay. Friday the 13th is coming up. Are there any? Okay, let's see. Like I said, this is much easier to actually do this now than what it was like a few months ago when I was doing it. Like, because I've actually had time to sit there and integrate this energy, and it's fantastic. I feel great right now. Like like I was saying to everyone, I went to Queens of the Stone Age last night, and I feel fantastic. That was a great show. Okay, let's see. Friday the 13th. Give me a sec. Friday the 13th. 13, Cybo. 13, the number of transformation. 13 is giving you a chance to transform into a new form. When your social anxiety is there, when your pessimistic views, and anything that might arise for you to be able to deal with. The number 13 gives you a chance to look at and change and reinterpret your experiences to determine whether you want it or not. You, as a culture, as you move forward energetically down line into your future selves and future existences and future realities, you are now synchronistically being given opportunities, since you are on the other side of the energetic storm that you, as a culture, as a world, have been going through for the last few years of your experience. The turbulence at this time should now be lessening. Because as you, as a culture, as a people, shift through the idea of the open door of contact, the window, into more of the idea of open contact, you, as a culture, will be asked to transition, to transform. And that is what the reflection of Friday the 13th. Because what do you do on Fridays in your culture? You go out and explore. And that's what you're being asked to do on Friday the 13th. That's fun. Like, yeah. that's fun experiences, actually. Like, I feel giddy right now. Hold on a sec. I got one thing to check. My cousin just saw that I'm turning 40, so they're actually really surprised at that whole experience. Yeah, no, like, I as I've been saying to you guys, like, I'm more than happy to come back and do more of these streams. I've just been like, I've been working a lot, so I've had a lot of energy to do it, but I'm actually energized for like coming back to do this now. Like, I'm also in a much more cohesive state than I was prior to when I was doing it. Like, this is actually jumping back and forth like this. This is actually much more. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Like, hold on one sec. Let's see. I've been seeing a long line of bright lights in the sky. From sky. I've been seeing unusual UFOs. Can you tell me anything about the boomerangs? One I saw, if there was ET craft, and can you tell me anything about? Okay, let's see what. Like, this is fun. Like, I really love talking about it, like spacecrafts and stuff and like ETs, and because, like I said, I've been integrating this and it's really hard. Like, if you Kobe Skylink. Oh yeah, no, like the other thing, if you go online, and there's actually websites that will tell you if it's like Skylink kind of stuff or different, like they track stuff in the sky that's actually has to do with like Skylinks and satellites. So you can actually go online to see if that actually is there, if it's that or not. And I would actually use that to actually confirm whether or not if what you're seeing is a UFO versus like a satellite. Because a lot of times satellites are all around us. Like, our skies are literally littered by all sorts of stuff like that. And the boomerang-shaped craft, I think, will answer that question. Let's see what he has to say. Let me read the question so I make sure I have like everything in, because he's essentially downloading, like, that information is being downloaded to me, and I got to make sure I have the question right so it answers the question correctly. And more than likely, the long line you've been seeing is actually Starlink. It will eventually get cleaned up. Like, I've been shown that it actually all does. That actually all does get cleaned up at some point. Like, the skies around us, it won't be as bad. Like, they'll actually need less satellites to do all the same stuff. Eventually, we'll be all But let's look at the boomerang shaped UFOs. I know those are usually IEL ships. Like that's the shape of their ships. But let's see who's gonna come through for that one. Who wants to come forward? We are Yael. We are family. We are approaching the idea of contact. We are showing ourselves more blatantly to you for you to understand and to recognize that we are here at this time to also be part of your reality more effectively and more openly. We are coming through his conduit as he has opened himself up to us. What you saw was one of our medium-sized ships. We are able to separate our ships into multiple parts. When they split apart, they come back together in different forms. Many of our ships also are interdimensional and able to take many different forms for you to actually view. Many of you will start seeing many more of our ships in your sky. We are showing ourselves to say hi, to give you a chance to be able to decide what and where and how you would like to accelerate contact at this time. All right, that was cool. All right. Yeah, and I really hope they do clean it up at some point. Like I said, this is getting much easier to switch back and forth. Like, I'm actually feeling really good right now. Like, the different energies don't bug me as much as they used to. All right, let's keep the questions coming. I'm actually feeling really good right now. Like, like considering that I'm going into 40, I'm like into my 40s. I'm actually feeling really cool being able to like switch back and forth now. Like, this is if you guys ever get a chance to be able to actually channel yourself, like be able to like get into the state where you can do it, so just such beautiful energy that just flows through once you kind of learn to like let it come through more easily. So yeah, come on, please bring through the question, answer the question. Yeah, no, I'm is there any also like I would love to hear some of your guys' experiences that you've had over the last few months. I know I spoke to Sky not too long ago, and we did, and I should do this tomorrow, but I need to edit up a session that I did with him. And if Sky wouldn't mind me actually sharing what he said to me after he did the meditation that was brought through for him when I did the private session for him, I would love to share that because it was really cool, like what he said. Because private sessions were private sessions, but also I want to be able to share like the information. And I just thought that was so inspiring what was brought through. So what was, I believe, Sky, what you asked was, how do I connect more effectively to my Essassani counterpart? And what was brought through to the information that was, I really got to find the message you sent me because that was a fantastic message. And I was just like, okay, cool. But it was like some imagery that he was given to actually connect with during a meditation that he used to do outside of like the chat. And it was, if I can find the message, I will definitely actually put that up there. Hold on a sec. Sky. SKY. Okay. I don't see it right now. Oh, that was okay. Here it is. Here it is. Back with Yeshua. Da, 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 da. No, honestly, I just thought it was really beautiful. I will actually put it up in like a thing, but like literally when you guys ask questions, I don't know what they're gonna say. I'm just gonna say that right out. As easy as it actually has gotten to do these things and channel different things through me, I will put the what your message that you sent me into the link for this video. That just no, that was, if you ever get a chance to like sit there and just channel and allow yourself to be in that state, it's just like this perfect state of love and this perfect state of allowing yourself to just be in the moment with everything that's happening. And the message was way too long, and I don't want to actually like I don't think that would make for great. I will post the whole thing, and also I'll have it read in like an AI voice so it can be read out without me getting my tongue tied. Okay, what can you say about Sasquatch? Is it a shapeshifter alien, and will it even come? So I know about we can just bring like, ooh, do you guys have questions for Bigfoot? I can just bring one through. Sighting June 27th, 2020 over San Diego, Mexico. It was moving the way Yael ships described. Probably was a Yael ship, honestly. Like, there's stereotypical things that come along with different types of ships that they move differently. Like, you see Sasani ships move in a very particular way where they're all jittery and they're all over the place, and they're interdimensional. So yeah. Oh yeah. Put your questions there for Bigfoot. Like, figure out what you want to say. Like, put a couple questions because I can't do too many at one given time. So yeah. Okay. And no, so Bigfoot are not shapeshifters. I know that for a fact. They're not shapeshifters. They're actually they're our cousins essentially. They're the Anunnaki caught like a good portion of our ancestors as well as the Bigfoot's ancestors, and the ones they didn't catch actually eventually transformed and evolved into Bigfoot. That's what we would all be if we went down that natural route. But yeah, no, feel free to like ask questions about anything. Like I'm open to like answer stuff. And let's go with the question about do Sasquatch have any pity for us for not evolving naturally or having our own genetic messed with? All right. See, also, like I said, all these different beings that I'm bringing through are essentially just different aspects of who I am and like the larger aspect of me. So it's, where does Bigfoot hide? A lot of times they actually hide in other realities. Like they can do this thing called slipwalking, where they can actually slip into another dimension just outside of the one that we're in. So, and also they have territories. Like some of them, they do come back into our reality and they shift into other realities as well. But like a lot of times you'll have small troops. Like they don't have huge families like we do. You'll have like a mother, a father, and like a few babies at any time, but they shift into other realities and different versions of Earth and stuff. So, are there? So Nephilim, the Nephilim that you hear about in like the Bible and stuff, are actually like those giants throughout history. Those are actually the Atlantean survivors. Like those were the people that survived from that were actually like if you go around, there's actually they found these giant skeletons that are about 7 to 10 feet tall, and those were actually Atlantean survivors. But those are like the things they talk about in history, being like the Nephilim, the because we're hybrids to begin with, so you got to remember like there's been different times in history where our ancestors actually had more of those genetics that express, and more of that stuff's actually starting to unlock now. So, but okay, let's see. Let's answer the question about like what do the what do the Bigfoot think about us having our genetics messed with? Um, yeah, no, there were actually a good portion of like the Atlanteans that had redhead genetics, like that. So the other thing you got to remember when they made humans in the first place, we had essentially had 13 different extraterrestrial races injected into our DNA. So different aspects from different worlds actually get expressed through like different like the way the population actually looks. That's actually why our world actually looks so different. Like so many different people around the world look so different. It's because the different aspects of our genetics that were injected into us actually are expressing through all the different people around the world. Yes, and okay, let's see. Let's bring through. I'm going to bring through the Bigfoot, and I'm going to have him answer some questions. He came through once before, so let's see what he has to say now. We are family. We are different. We are different path of evolution, of creation. We will be taking over from here at this time to explain the process between the Sasquatch as you know them, through the Greys, through humans as you know yourself to be. We will explain it in this way. Each of the different varieties, such as the Greys, the Maz-E, the Sasquatch, the Yeti, all these represent different aspects of what you, as beings, could potentially be, and the different forms that they all take. They all essentially stem from the same general source, whereas the Greys, they went down the completely mental path as to turn into what you would consider extraterrestrials, but really are just you from another reality, which you are connected to, and have dreams, and have been able to make more connections to yourselves. Whereas the Sasquatch, as a species, as they are now, more closely resemble what you would have turned into had you remained natural. They, as a species, live in complete and utter harmony with what it is to mean to be in your form. You, as beings, as you sit now, more represent that in-between space. You have the ability to imagine what it's like to be the Sasquatch, and imagine what it's like to be the Grey, Or imagine what it's like to be your future selves in different forms. Because the humanoid form is so malleable, that is why in your part of the galaxy, it is so common. That is also why in your media, you see so many depictions of extraterrestrials, interstellar beings, interdimensional beings taking on the form of a humanoid. In many places that we as a civilization have interacted with, there are many beings, many different shapes that don't even remotely resemble human. They, as a culture, as what you know as Sasquatch, are indifferent. They understand from a more higher perspective because of the way they can shift between different realities. They are able to see the need for beings like you. They do not pity you. They do not hate you. They do understand in time they will actually come back out into your reality, become more part of your world, and become more connected to you. We would highly suggest you, as a people, if you are coming to the Yeti, the Sasquatch, with the idea of exposing them to the world, you're never going to meet them. Frankly, they can sense off you. They are highly telepathic. They do communicate in grunts and also in just and sounds like that. They could truly actually speak English or any of your languages if they chose to, but they, being the more natural aspect of you as a culture, as a people, choose to remain in the natural state. At this time. Ooh, that was fun. Stick from cross they make. Ooh, that would be cool. Okay, let's go back into it. Different territories. To cross an area is to determine the boundaries as to our territory. Our family small. We require large areas in order to show our space to others. No trap. No danger. Oh, that was cool. Like, so there's a super, like, I will say this much, like, anytime the different energies are actually coming through me, it's like they just feel different. Like when a Sasquatch is coming through, it's actually very just like low and very grounded, very like very simplistic in the actual energy itself. Where when Ethan's coming through me, it's just like this sort of energy. The Yael, that's actually the first time I've had a Yael come through me. Like that was really cool. Like it was very like kind of out there sort of energy. It's just like all over the place. And the Lyrans are kind of like the couple times they've come through, they're very up here and they're just like, and they also kind of like I feel the energy flow through my my shoulders when the Lyrans are coming through. Yeah. So far, my favorite energy that I felt is like when I have someone's when I'm actually channeling someone's higher mind energy through me, like that is like just big energy. You like, I know when Angelique was here helping me when I was doing this before, she told me more than a few times that she actually felt the energy change in the room. So, okay, let's see. Wow, that does mean if the Stick Foundation go, one person in Alberta was upset. They went down. Oh, that's cool. You're in Australia. I love Australia. Ooh, where in Australia are you from? And also, you got to keep in mind with like Bigfoot, because I had this one person I was hanging out with for a while that was like super obsessed with like Bigfoot, and um, there's actually a bunch of different varieties of Bigfoot. Like you have the Yetis that are like white, and then you have the because there's different varieties around the world. It's like there's different types of humans around the world. Like that's a thing. Um, but just kind of keep that in mind. Like, and I will be coming down to Australia next year for a few weeks. I'm going to be teaching a class for body work, and then I'm also gonna. Oh, nice! I like Sydney. What part of Sydney? But I'm going to be coming down to Melbourne and also Gold Coast for Surfer Paradise area for a dance competition, and then Melbourne for a to possibly teach a class, because I've never been down to Melbourne. I'd like to go to Melbourne. So yeah, no, I've actually been to Australia. I love it down there. Yeah, no, keep the questions coming. I'm actually more than happy to answer the questions, because I really enjoy bringing this stuff through for you. Oh, Manly. Oh, that's a really nice beach area. Like I've actually been out there. That I actually Bondi is cool and all, but like Manly has way more going on. Yeah, no, it's oh yeah, no, I know. I actually know exactly where that area is. Like I know that area. Like I like when I was in Sydney, like the last time I went down there, I went all over the place down there. That was actually I was trying to figure out like because I felt like super connected to like Australia, and the moment I got off the plane, I just felt like, oh, this is my space. I love this. Yeah, no. So okay. Um, I and also since we're speaking to someone in Australia, let's because I know Lemuria was actually not. I know I know Lemuria was like more out towards New Zealand and like all that area. That's actually where New Zealand's or is like the remnants of Lemuria itself. Let's bring some Lemurians through. Let's. Oh, totally. I completely agree. I really enjoyed Manly Beach. It was much more like I like the little farmers market you guys have there in like the square. Like that's pretty cool. Like I met more than a few like Aussies that were actually that were just sitting there selling their stuff, and it was just cool little unique stuff that was unique to that area. So let's bring some Lemurians through. What do you guys have for questions for Lemurians? Because keep in mind for or hell, we could even do Atlanteans. I don't know. Like figure out some people that you'd like to bring through, because frankly, I don't know. I'm here just for you guys. I'm not going to keep this stream up too much longer because it's getting kind of late for me, and I want to actually. Yeah, no. What you see of New Zealand is actually the remnants of the continent that was Lemuria, because it was essentially like a continent. It was about the same size as like. It was actually about. I want to say. Because they knew that their continent was actually sinking into the waves. What you see of like also Easter Island is like part of that as well. Like it stretched really far. It sank underneath the waves and like completely washed out a lot of the islands. That's actually where a good portion of like Polynesians and also the Aboriginals and like a lot of people in Southeast Asia actually come from our direct their direct actual like people in India, people in like Southeast Asia, the Polynesian people, Aboriginals, Hawaiians, and also most of the Native Americans actually North, Central, and South America. All actually, that's the origin is like Lemuria, like Atlantis itself, because there's been 3 separate Atlantis that destroyed themselves. That actually, I'm a giant. That actually destroyed themselves 3 separate times. The highest form of technology that I had was during the second one, and then eventually it degraded down to where you saw during the third civilization. Let's find out. Are the Lemurians and Mount Shasta is going to watch the eclipse? So a lot of times, a lot of these different civilizations that are around, that are still kind of around, they're actually just in other realities. So you got to keep in mind they're not completely gone. They're just, um, yes, the markets are cool. My daughter does. Yeah, there are actually quite a few bases around the place for Atlanteans or Lemurians in your time. Where are the ancient structures? So, for Atlanteans, a lot of those things that they attribute to being like different, like indigenous cultures that are in like North, Central, and South America were actually constructed by either the survivors of Atlantis or Atlanteans themselves, because they knew that their culture was sinking into the ocean. So they actually started creating colonies all over the world. And the reason why they couldn't actually find like roads up to these places up until we made them essentially is because they had air balloons. They actually had the ability to fly to those places. Like anytime you see like structures where they're lifting like 100 tons for one stone, like 150 tons or half a million tons for a stone, that's actually indicative of like Atlanteans. Because what they would actually do is they would use harmonic resonance to actually use acoustical levitation on a much higher level than what we can do now to actually push these giant stones. Like most of what you see around the world with all these megalithic things that existed since like the stone, like the Younger Dryas and like a lot of other time periods in our history, and they have bred into our population. So we're like the future lives of those people as well. Um, but a lot of those actually were just the survivors of Atlantis that created those things. That's why those stories show up in our histories um, of how they would actually float those like giant stones into place, because it didn't take like giant like slaves. The pyramids were not built by slaves. I mean, I'm sorry, but those things were definitely not built by slaves. But they used harmonic resonance to actually cut the stones, as well as because they in Egypt after Atlantis sank and they built the pyramids and everything. Because the more advanced ones, like the ones on Giza, are actually the ones that were built first, and then as like the people died out, it became less and less advanced because they lost a lot of the information. Yeah, no. Well, there were three that existed before the one that we know as Atlantis, because there was Lemuria, which was the first offshoot after the Anunnaki left, and allowed us to just start creating our own thing. And they lived more naturally, like you see a lot of indigenous cultures have done throughout history. And then Atlantis, actually, the first Atlantis, actually lived more or less like the Lemurians did, but they actually um, progressed with like ETs, and they actually had more. Um, how about I just have one of them come through and actually talk about it? Let's go for. Um, let's start back to. Let's start with like. Who do we want to start with? We'll pick on. You have three choices: Anunnaki, a Lemurian, or an Atlantean. Let's talk. Let's talk to one of those three. And you guys pick. I want you guys to actually give me. And I will. How about we do the Lemurians, because they're actually, because that fits in right at what the Sky was asking. Let's start with Lemurian, because I think that would be the smart one to actually start with in this case. We speak to you from outside of what you know of time. Many of our descendants, of the ones that remained on your plane, that traveled through the different doorways of the system that we used in your past to reach different points around the world, allowed us to go to many of your different lands, to be able to speak and learn and spread our experiences to what would be your time, pass down our understanding to what would eventually become you. Many of our teachings, our understandings were hidden and will be brought back through in forms like this to be able to share the understanding that we live by, to understand the way we lived, the eclipse is there to reveal our understanding. We exist around the Mother Mountain that you refer to as Shasta. We exist slightly out of your time space, as you understand it. Many of the survivors that originally came to these lands have transitioned back to spirit. We are in a time to be able to share more easily our understanding of what it means to be informed, to share what it means to be in cohesion with the environment, with the people, with the stars, as you would know it to experience. Oh, that was pretty. Oh, that was actually really nice of her. Like, that was actually nice, calm energy coming through. Oh, yeah. No, there were different. So going back to the Atlanteans, so there was the Lemurians, and then there were the. Then you have the Atlanteans that actually came about from the Lemurians after they spread out around the world, and then they actually had a pretty good a giant land, and then they like I was watching this, I was listening to this audiobook, and I was listening to this interview from a guy who had been collecting all this information about Atlantis and different information that's come out over the years, and what he said was that when the second Atlantis, they decided to kill a lot of the megafauna about 50,000 years ago, and then in the record there's actually a record of a large extinction of like megafauna, like the saber-toothed tiger and the woolly mammoth and a lot of other stuff, and in them doing that, it actually destroyed a good portion of their of them as a people, because they kind of in doing that they actually destroyed a good portion of their land, which broke it up and turned it into more like islands, and then eventually it came to the last one, which would be 3 civilizations prior to like the Atlantis that we knew. So and I would love to continue this on to I'm going to continue this all on tomorrow. It's getting kind of late, and I want to go to bed soon. So and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Please, dear God, come with more questions, and I love seeing you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day or night or whatever it is. Good morning. So yeah, feel free to have more questions, and make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff for everyone who watches this. I'll talk to you soon.